I think somebody might have needed to put that book, How to Make Friends and Influence People, on Gus Malzahn's summer reading list. Yay. These guys are getting it all kinds of wrong. Let's talk about it.
Let's go!
Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Welcome to the show, everybody. Lemon Lime, glad you're here. We've got a few different things we're going to talk about today. We're going to start off with the whole deal with the UCF and their unusually large mouths. But anybody who wants to jump into the show can use this link. We'll do a few calls there. The link's right there in the chat section. Also going to get into actually the last couple of days you've been hearing some stuff from Josh Pate actually talking about the Rose Bowl becoming a permanent venue for the college football playoff national championship game. You know, the more I've thought about it, the more I've heard a lot of what people are thinking, I don't necessarily hate it. Not a terrible idea. I want to get you guys' opinion on that as well. Also, obviously, get your opinion on what you think is happening with Oklahoma Sooner recruiting. It looks like they're starting to pick up some steam. And thanks a lot, guys, for coming in, Hank. They're starting to pick up some steam on the recruiting trail, and looks as if going to get a flip from Texas Tech on a big target wide receiver, Ivan Carrion. I think it's starting to look pretty clear that he'll be headed to Norman after his senior season. Cody, the professor, is going to jump in. I knew he'd jump right in. I just had a feeling. I'll let me pull him up in just a second. Also, we'll get into honestly though, Texas Tech is doing a great job, doing a really good job out on the recruiting trail. It kind of looks like they're upsetting the apple cart a little bit when it comes to Lone Star college football recruiting. It's not that often that you see them beating out Texas A&M for big time players like the number one receiver in the state. And that's been going on. Hey, Coach Roybaugh, you see the thing in there as well. I know you're probably working, that's why I didn't get hold of you, but if you want to jump in, welcome to do so. I'm going to go ahead and welcome in to the show real quick. We'll let him on here for a few minutes. Get Cody in here.
What's up, man?
The professor. What's up, buddy?
I'm in bed sick with COVID.
Whoa. COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think it was still a thing, but yeah, I got it. So I just wanted to hop on real fast, and I was wondering if you could actually send me the national championship game that UCF won.
No, because that would be that Coley Matrix thing. And, that's, well, I was watching Allie Peak earlier. She kind of made me, I was laughing at her video about this stuff. She's awesome. And she was talking about how in, I believe it was 2012, when Notre Dame was named the Coley Matrix national champion, right after getting beat, what was it, 35-13 by Bama in the national championship game. So, yeah. And then turns around and Alabama's named the champion a few years later when they got smoked by Clemson in the championship game.
I think they actually have a banner at the stadium too.
Oh yeah, they're hanging banners. They're pounding that chest as much as they possibly can, and it's pretty much what they're doing here too. This is kind of weird, man. I don't understand really where it's coming from, but started off this last week. They were going after Mackenzie Milton. I guess he made some kind of statement concerning, kids and, how we should be doing things with kids in school and stuff, or what should be taught, what shouldn't. It was religious in nature, so he got attacked, but he got attacked by a lot. And Cody Stovall from Locked On Oklahoma State kind of went at him, which was pretty funny because it always is when he gets wound up. But he was saying that he actually had looked through there, and there was tons and tons and tons of all the same stuff that they were just bashing this kid, right? But then he ends up having the guy, what is his name? The guy from trying to remember the name of that show. Oh, you ran off turnip seed. Oh yeah. The sons of UCF guy, whoever he is, I forget his name, whatever, but he was on the show with Cody, and they were talking about how they just couldn't wait to play Oklahoma because they're going to get their licks in on Dylan Gabriel for leaving the program and some of the stuff that he did in the locker room and stuff like that. Of course, I ended up making a video about that.
Yeah.
And they haven't shut up since. They've been in the comments trashing, talking a bunch of smack about how they're going to.
That might be the it's almost like a cult, that UCF fan base.
A bunch of wackos, man. What's going on with these guys?
Something in the water in Orlando.
Yeah, dude, it's I don't know. And the thing is like, I mean, they've been a real program for what? A few years,
Yeah, they've been a real program in a not great conference.
Right. So, and then Malzahn's even out there saying how there's forget the big three. Now there needs to be a big four because they are just as good as the rest of the big three. I've never seen anything that will make Florida fans, Miami fans, and Florida State fans band together against something. Ever. Never.
That
did. Oh, yeah. I've seen TJ Pittenger, going to bat for Florida. And then Allie was going to bat for FSU and Miami.
I saw him go to bat because they were dogging on Florida, and he goes, well, at least Florida plays in a real conference.
Yeah.
Over the win-loss because they have the highest win percentage.
Yeah, but they're playing Temple and ECU and crap every year. They also have, I think, their strength of schedule somewhere around number 70 in the country.
Yeah, where's ours usually? Top 5?
Yeah, it's always in the top 30. It's average around the top 30, but 30-1 isn't a big deal. But when you start getting to 70, it just tells you who they're playing, Yeah. And it's one thing and here's how I feel about it. They're not playing a real schedule. They've yet to play a real schedule, as Hank says here. Think about it. It's one thing okay, good for you. You beat Gus and Alabama and Auburn that year, right?
Yeah.
But Auburn wasn't the best team in the SEC. They were third best. Now they did beat Georgia and Alabama that year. I'll give you that. But it's one thing to get up for one game. And it's totally another thing to have to play those kind of guys week after week after week.
They beat Florida in a bad bowl game with about 60% of the roster sitting out.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's
not even comparable. Like they want to hang their hats on meaningless bowl games, and not all bowl games are meaningless. The 4 playoff games are meaningful. And then when we expand to 12, obviously that'll be meaningful.
But they never played in a playoff. That was a BCS game that they went in.
Who won the Cheez-It Bowl 10 years ago? Like, who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. But they were bringing up, I forget which one it was called. It was some weird bowl name or whatever, but they were talking about that in that one too, and how they've beaten. I think it was the Florida one. Or whatever, where they beat Florida, and they're pounding their chest about that. And then my favorite one though was in my comment section. This, I don't know, they kept coming at me. It was on Twitter yesterday, and at the end of it, it was like we won the American the first year that we were in that too. We won that the first year. Y'all ain't ready.
Okay, if you took that program and you put it in the SEC, where do you think they fall?
UCF in the SEC?
Yeah.
Well, if
Kentucky.
you look at their average in recruiting is somewhere in the, I think, around 68th. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They usually recruit somewhere around 68th. Their best recruiting season yet is about 39th that I've seen in the last 10 years or so. It's like 39th was their best year recruiting. The worst year for Miami, and Miami's the worst out of the quote big three or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're the worst ones, and their worst one was 26th.
Let's see. Can you see what Kentucky average recruits?
Yeah. Give me this second.
Sorry, I'm trying to put relevance into what we're saying here.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's I can tell you what. Just to put it this way, though, they're talking about being in part of the big three or whatever, which I don't have a dog in this fight. Don't really care. But if you start talking about that kind of stuff, then you better. I think the average for Florida is around 14th in recruiting, and then FSU and Miami are both at or no.
You know what's
FSU and Miami are both 15th. That's their average.
You know what's crazy? We talk so much shit about Mike Norvell not recruiting well, and he recruits 20th, 18th, 17th.
Well, they've actually had a number one recruiting class.
Who?
In that same time period, Florida State.
Yeah. So we talk about Norvell not recruiting well, and comparative to all the other colleges like UCF, where their best year's 38. Norvell would probably lost his job with a 38th recruiting class.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just different. It's just.
Yeah, man. I mean, come on, let's be serious.
I think Vandy might recruit better than top 50 usually.
Oh, Vandy?
Yeah,
probably.
Well, you know what?
Well, Hank says between Vandy and Missouri.
That's probably where they would land.
Uh-oh. Kim's got a question for you. Why do SEC folks still see OU through the lens of Lincoln Riley as a cupcake and not as BV being a worse nightmare than Stoops?
What is that?
He's asking why everybody in the SEC, and I don't know about the everybody part, but his words of why SEC folks are still seeing OU through the lens of Lincoln Riley and a cupcake and not as BV being a worse nightmare than Stoops.
I don't think
Kentucky's average is around 26th in the last 5 years.
Yeah. That's comparative to 50 for UCF, right?
UCF is in the last 5 years. They're not in the top 50. Yeah, they're not.
That goes to show. I don't think people think that OU is a cupcake. I mean, I've said it multiple times.
I don't think that a ton of people do either. You know what I mean? And I
both said it. Have said that if there's two teams ready for the SEC,
I think you've got a few, but generally the ones that are saying stupid stuff like that are Missouri fans because they hate it. That I'm going to let Lemon Lime in here with us.
Hello.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. You?
Good. Welcome to the show. We're gonna. I'll let you kind of. What do you think about that question that Kim just asked? He was asking why everybody still kind of sees OU as a cupcake. I don't really know that they do, guys. I kind of feel like it's.
Well, I think since OU's always been in the Big 12, we've always been there. We've been there forever, right? Ever since Bob Stoops' era. And I think with Barry Switzer said something about it. He said he was worried about it as well. Because it's going to be harder. And Venables has to be ready. He has to be ready at all costs. And, we got, in the first year we play Alabama. So that's always going to be a tough game. It's like Texas. We've always played against Texas. And it's always the odds are stacked against us or they're stacked with us. So we have to be ready. We have to feel, we have to get things going. We have to get players in. We have to get things and we have to have a winning season this year. If we don't, we're not going to get any good players. They're not going to want to come to OU. They're going to go somewhere else. So if we have a good season and we maybe win the national championship or something or a bowl game, we could get the good players in because they'll see, okay, Oklahoma's training right. They're doing things right. we want to go there. You know, we've always been a winning school. We've always been this powerhouse of players. We've always done that. And so if we continue to do that, players will come here, just like Georgia. Georgia has always had this powerhouse. They've always had powerhouses. Michigan's always had powerhouses. And that's because they've shown time after time after time that they can train and they can win championships.
Right.
And so OU needs to do the same thing. We need to start getting on that recruiting trail again after this season. And if we show this year that we're not cupcakes, it'll show people, hey, we're coming back. You know, we had a bad season. Yeah, we did, but we're coming back. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't necessarily believe that win and losses, especially with a new coach, is that big of a deal in the first 3 years. Just due to the fact you're going to get more players actually now because you're going to the SEC, and a lot of kids want to play in the SEC, right? So you're going to get a bump in recruiting already.
Sure.
Yeah, look at Tennessee.
It already has. Look at that. I mean, they went number 4. I mean, they are already number 4 this season.
Look at Tennessee. Look what Heupel's doing. He brought a team back that was kind of going really bad, and he brought them back to win a bowl game.
Yeah,
the second year.
The story's still out on Heupel because everywhere he's been has always gotten good really fast and then kind of faded away. So we're still wondering about that. But the question is you say win loss. Sorry, yeah. If you go win a Big 12 conference and then you get into the SEC and say you go 6-6,
right?
It's really not going to hurt you the first year, and even the second year, as long as you're it's not a shellacking like what Miami has put on the field.
Oh yeah, Miami didn't it? What about that thing with they going bankrupt? Did they ever solve that or what?
Oh no, he's in court now. He's got no money. And
I was with you on that one. I was talking to you on that live you were doing about that one.
Yeah, and so and it shows in their recruiting class. Go look at their recruiting class right now.
Yeah.
How you go from a top. Well, after they lost Rashada and Kamani, the class dropped. It was probably about the 14th class. But how do you go from a top 5 class to? I mean, I don't even know where they're ranked right now.
Yeah, I don't know where they are either. But that's the whole thing about it is when you're in on a lot of these guys, and it's the same kind of thing I've been trying to say, with some of the fans that are freaking out about where Oklahoma is currently at, right? Is that right now this is that none of the biggest players or the ones with the most stars and the biggest stars out there they haven't committed yet. So until they really do that, then you can start making that judgment, because once those commitments come in, and really Cody, you've said this 1,000 times. I've said this 1,000 times. The truth of it is that it doesn't really matter until the name's on paper. I think we all know that, it's looking a lot like you're going to get Carry On from Ivan Carry On. He decommitted from Texas Tech. A lot of that had to do with Emmett Jones. I mean, Emmett Jones is the one that recruited him to Tech. He's the one that's recruiting him now to Oklahoma. He had a great time at the barbecue. It appears that his family had a great time at the barbecue. That's clear. I think that's going to happen. But not to say that.
Trust me, OU's going to be fine. I've seen worse from OU in the 90s. Oh my God, we had a coach. I forgot what his name was, but we had the worst losing season in that time period than we did now. I'm not really worried. We always come back. I've seen it. I've seen it time after time.
Mm-hmm.
OU springs back. We spring back. It's weird. It's like it's like in the fall we go back in time. We kind of reverse time, and then the spring we spring forward in time. So it's the same thing. But I grew up with grandparents, right? And they've seen worse. They've been all through the 70s and the 80s and the 90s.
Listen, it happens, man.
They've seen worse.
You're not going to be great every freaking year, and especially when you had to clean up the mess that Lincoln left there.
Yeah, no, you're not going to be perfect.
Yeah, there was a mess there. There was a mess, and that's.
I can't believe that OU fans worried about recruiting after you just had a top 5 class.
Right.
No, look, I've been saying this a lot, and we're going to find out he did verbally commit. See, I was waiting to see if he was going to finally do it, but okay, so Carry On verbally committed today. So this is a guy that's, we're talking. There's another 6'6" big time target, right? And so this is, man, my camera is acting jank.
I would say the biggest problem we had last year, and everybody knows this, was our defense. And I think we've worked on that. I think we've recruited players, and we have completely worked on that. I think we have sized up our defense, and I think it's going to be a lot better this year.
Sure.
However, we shouldn't let that get to us. We have, we gotta keep going. You know what I mean? We got to keep training. We got to get things done. We got to get things rolling, steam rolling. So, it takes a team to win games. It didn't take one person. It takes a team. So if all the team's off, or one person is off in the team, it's gonna be chaos. So I think if we have everybody on track and we have everything going, and it's the tempo going and the timing right, we will win games. And most of the stuff last year was 2-3 point loses. So we just gotta, bring things together, and we gotta get timing right. And it's gonna take time. This is his second year. He's still new to this whole thing. Brent Venables is still new. Give him time, and pretty soon we'll be the old OU that we used to be, maybe even better than the old OU. I mean, we're going to get back in shape. We got it. I believe in OU. OU's always done this. They've always, gone off one year and then they come back the other year. You're not going to be perfect every year. You're not Georgia. You're not that perfect.
Georgia's starting to Rome is starting to crumble in Georgia. I don't know if you've seen some of the reports coming out and stuff like that, but I'm not deep yet, but they have some serious problems going down there.
Oh, with their quarterback, that quarterback that they had, he was really good. He was something. I tell you what, that kid was special.
Not even that. It's more about they're having some accusation of sexual assault, and then while they were recruiting, and they still brought him in. I mean, there's all kinds of. I don't know how much of that is true. I'm not going to sit here and say it is. What I'll tell you is that it's not a good sign.
No.
So it's and the thing is even the best one out there, guaranteed the best coach in history has been Nick Saban. And what does it look like right now for Alabama?
They're not doing too good. No. But you're right. If those things are true about Georgia, then that looks bad on the school, and it looks bad on the coach for recruiting the person, whoever it may be.
Sure.
But so I think that's going to look really bad. But I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. This thing could all blow over. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it just, becomes silent, and sometimes it ramps up and it becomes big news. So I mean, it'll change. Everything changes. So
yeah, no doubt, man. And I appreciate you calling in, and you're right. I mean, that's the whole thing. Is that I feel like you have to believe in what's going on here. When
don't doubt.
In a month he got.
Don't doubt a coach that was one of the best OU coaches we've had. Don't just Stoops. I mean, literally that guy. I swear. Don't doubt him.
John, that might be a good question. I don't know though. I think that Gibson was kind of. This is something we've kind of talked about after the spring game, John, and it's. When he drops another pass there, and it just seems like he's had a hard time being able to kind of keep it together, right? Where he's dropping a lot of balls. And I still feel like if he gets that one, and Hank has said this a bunch, I think, Jim has said this a bunch too. If he gets that one touchdown, he catches one clean and gets in the end zone, it probably jumps up his confidence quite a bit, to the point that you're going to be able to see him kind of take off. I don't think that you exactly want to get rid of 6'6" guys, right?
No, put them on like wide receiver or something. Make them, they can just touch that ball at 6'6". You know what I mean?
Well, and from what I can tell, it almost seems like you might end up seeing Carry-On. He almost seems like he could be the kind of kid that turns into a tight end, which tight ends these days are, they're just as dangerous as anybody else. You know what I mean? And I still kind of feel that way. Hey, what happened there, Professor?
Yeah, I think we'll be, because I think Brent Venables is also getting advice from the other Bob Stoops, Barry Switzer. He might even be talking to Barry Switzer about stuff. Who knows what he's doing behind the doors? I mean, he could get plays all the way around. He's gonna get things going, and I know it. And then pretty soon we'll be going against Alabama every year or something like that. It's gonna keep going.
Yeah, I agree, and as Hank said, with Gibson, he's kind of been in his own way. He has been in his own way, and if he'll just get out of his own way, then things will probably happen. Well, sometimes guys, the lights are just too bright for some of these guys. It's just how it is. I'd like to say that that's not going to happen here. Something's going to happen. He's going to get his confidence and everything's going to be fine. He's a young kid, but we hadn't seen it yet. And I mean, if you can't get it together in the spring game, you kind of tend to wonder, right? But anyway, yeah.
But the only teams that I'm worried about this year is BYU, since obviously we're on a two losing streak with them, and I'm Texas, because I think all the other teams could be an easier kind of team, because we have an easier schedule this year than we did, last year. So, but BYU, we're on a 2 losing streak. We've always been, I don't know why we can't beat them, but we can't beat them. And maybe this year it'll be different. Who knows? But I think we should focus on this year and see how we do. And if we don't do well, or if we do well, then we should take from that knowledge, and then when we go to the SEC, we should see what we can do from there. But I think for right now, since it's a whole different year, we're whole different. We're a year away from the SEC. We should focus on this year and what we're doing. So and it's time. So I mean, we have players that just came in, that are freshmen or came out of high school. Let them develop. Let them get it done. And we'll they'll assess them and see where they can put them and where they can go if they need to switch places, and that'll be that.
Yeah, I agree. And we're about to address something like that right here. So, Caravan guy, I don't know. I haven't seen you in here a ton, but getting too much. Lincoln gets too much blame for the coaching job that Brent Venables has done. Lincoln Riley won 5 Big 12 championships. Bottom line, there was adequate talent at Oklahoma. No, there wasn't. No, there wasn't. No. They lost 2 5-stars on offense. They lost 2 5-star quarterbacks and one of their top receivers. They lost guys to the draft. There was 13 guys off of that depth chart, and they were playing crappy defense when Lincoln was there. Okay, the best guys off of that defense were gone, and they'll tell you that it didn't have anything to do with Brent Venables. Bottom line is, everywhere that he's been, it does take some time to figure out the 3-3-5, particularly when you're going from the speed D, which is completely different. But you realize that now they've had to overturn 85% of that roster, Caravan.
Yeah, and every bowl game that Lincoln sent us to, we lost. I believe. So
the CFP games, yeah, they got. I mean, only one of them was close.
Yeah,
only one of them was even close.
That's why Venables left, is because Venables, when Bob Stoops left, he thought
this is a lazy. Let me just say this. This is a lazy, completely lazy, ridiculous statement. Okay, you're not going to come in here into this comment section and chirp like you're one of these USC clowns, because I'm not going to hear it. I'm not going to hear it. We all know that what kind of team was on. Was it perfect by the coaches? Of course not. Of course not. There was things that needed to be better. No doubt about that. But what I will tell you is, if you're going to sit there and try to tell me that there was adequate talent to not be where they were on defense, I'm going to tell you why were they where they were on defense whenever Lincoln was here. Because he doesn't care about it. He didn't care about it when he got to SC either, and they were right there, 122 in yards per play.
Look at that thing with Tulane last year. He should have won that game.
Oh, dude, how do you lose that one? How do you lose that one? The other thing is because why? Well, first off, he doesn't care about defense. The other thing he doesn't care about is special teams.
No.
Perfect Cracker was talking about that on the Voice of College Football show, and I'd forgotten all about it up until a couple of weeks before that, when they were talking about they didn't even have a coordinator for the special teams. They practiced it like 30 freaking minutes a week. That's insane.
When Lincoln came here, he had
dude. Yeah, and of course this dude drops in here and then leaves. What a clown.
When Lincoln was here at OU, he had the team set. Bob Stoops and whoever before him, they had the team set. He had it. He had everything handed to him like a rich kid, literally. He had Baker, he had Kyler, he had people set for him. You know what I mean? So I mean, he was
Yeah.
privileged in that matter. And then when he went to
You guys are
USC, he had Caleb Williams. He was privileged
exactly.
there.
Hey, listen, that's what changed it for them. That's what helped them be what they were. Dang it, this camera looks screwy.
If he would focus on defense, he would win a lot more games, and he probably wouldn't even. And he lost to Utah twice. How do you lose the same team twice? Oh, he's gone.
No,
There you
I'm
go.
here. I'm
There you
here.
go.
It's just it's the.
How
the
do you
video.
lose to Utah twice? The same team twice. That's amazing.
Good question. It's a good question, man. I can. The only thing I can tell you is that it's, you know, the bottom line is that you lose to you lose to Utah, and the second time he's making excuses about Caleb getting hurt or he was hurt. Well, he got hurt by Utah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
I was laughing. I was laughing about it. I thought, how do you lose to the same team twice? I mean, literally, I was just my mind was just exploded with questions like. You know, it's funny. It's hilarious. It really is hilarious.
Man. And look, well, if you look at the Tulane game with USC, he puts Mario back there to return a punt. He's never done it before. Never done it before in college. What happens? The one thing that you cannot allow to happen, if you're USC, you cannot allow that crap to happen.
Yeah,
and that's it. What a clown. Oh, he's back.
Well, you got to give him time. You know,
are you saying that he's going to be fired?
He won't be fired. He won't be fired.
He's the buyout. You obviously don't know a whole lot about the contract because the buyout is insane. He's not going to be fired. And yeah, you're not an Oklahoma guy, bro.
I wouldn't mind if we lost to Texas, but if we lose to any other team, that's going to be embarrassing to me personally because
the BYU BYU that's a tough place to go play. Man. That's a tough place to go play. We're going to find out what they're about. I think that I don't think that they're as good as what they probably should be, but you never know. I think that that's a tough one. I think that the road game at Kansas, when you've got a guy like Jalen Daniels, he can make you look bad. Now, the thing about Kansas is they, their defense is just not good, right?
K-State sure showed up last year, though. They sure showed up. I mean, look what they did. They showed up pretty good against teams.
Right.
But I'd say even if we went 10-2 or 11-1,
Precious, and the whole thing about Lincoln, he was talking about how you can't recruit to Oklahoma, right, Caravan? That you can't get elite defensive talent. He can't get it in LA at the Mecca, as he called it. He can't get it there.
Well, thanks to Kyler Murray, or was it Kyler Murray was QB at the time when we played Army? I think thanks to him, we kind of won that game because of that. I think because he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, this guy, Caravan, you can. We're just gonna mute you. You don't get to talk for a while.
Like, why talk about OU, dude? Venables is new. He's always been a defensive coordinator. Now he's coming into the new job. It takes a long time for a new guy to get the job right. So, I mean, just give him time.
Look, it takes, and that's what the coach says all the time. This is something that you have to remember is that there is a learning curve. It doesn't matter how long you've been an assistant or a coordinator even. There's a lot of different things that you have to you have to be in charge of a lot of things as the head coach. You don't have time to just go and be the defensive guy worrying about what your defense is doing and teaching, and
every coach has been through it before. They all have haters, and they all talk crap about each other, and it's
and on top of that, the other thing that Caravan's not saying or nobody says anything about, and let's just bring it up. Shit, he was recruiting for USC while he was still at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
What do you mean he left good talent? He tried to implode the entire freaking program.
Yeah.
What a knucklehead you are. I don't need you here. Yeah, they can take off. Yeah.
Tell you what, USC fans, if anybody's in here, you got a coach who can win.
Was that you that banned him completely or what? Because that's cool with me.
You got a coach who can win games, but when he's in a bowl game, he loses it. He becomes soft. That's it. Trust me. At OU, he lost bowl games because something happened and it just imploded. And when he went up against a good team, or even a bad team, Tulane they were good, but still, they just kind of fall on themselves. They just kind of, it's weird. It's like he doesn't know it's weird. In the regular season, they do okay, right? They do fine.
Sit here and blame. I'm not going to blame Lincoln completely for like what happened as far as in the Rose Bowl. Well, I am, but it's not just about. I mean, that squib kick. It was the momentum changer. When you start thinking about that squib kick, it was a momentum changer, right?
Yeah,
and that was the problem. But it wasn't just that. But my question would be is, when you don't practice that, why in the hell would you even do that? What for?
I guess he thought, I don't know, in his mind, I'm not standing up for him in any way, but I think in his mind he thought that maybe that was the only way, which I doubt. But you never know at that point.
That listen, you don't practice it at all. And I mean, the last game that he coached was the Okie Light game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guys, the last question that he answered even was they were asking him, are you going to do something about special teams? Are you going to hire a coordinator? And he was very adamant, no.
Yeah.
So they didn't do it at, they didn't do it at SC either.
No.
They didn't. So it
it's funny when they hired Lincoln Riley at OU, Brent Venables, he left. He said, I'm pissed. I'm leaving.
No, Brent was already gone. He was gone for 12 years. But the thing was that was the whole Mike Stoops thing.
Yeah.
Because of that. So.
But still, I mean, we made the wrong choice in Lincoln Riley because I kind of knew. I don't know why, but I kind of knew when he got hired, he wasn't going to last. There's no way. I mean, this guy, he wasn't going to last. I just had that feeling as soon as we started kind of going downhill, and then when we kept losing bowl games and after bowl games and after bowl game, I'm like, it's either he's going to quit or they're going to fire him because I don't think OU would want a guy who keeps losing these big games and putting his team on edge and putting the university making the university look bad. So either he was gonna get fired from losing bowl games or he was gonna quit. Either or. It's just like with Mike Gundy.
He wasn't going to get fired right away. The thing is and here's the problem. Here's the problem with it, and it's these USC fans that do the same stuff, right? And because they have, right, you're right, Eric. They were down for so long that they're blinded about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is what Kim is saying, and this is the same thing the yoga coach, that whole thing, when you got rid of the strength and conditioning coach, which thankfully they've got him back now, with Schmitty. But before, I mean, they literally had a guy that, damn it, this camera. They literally had a guy.
Is it your new setup? Is it your new setup that's bugging?
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I'm struggling with it, so I don't know what's happening here.
But I think I don't know what's going to happen with. I think when Caleb Williams leaves, or if he does go to the NFL, I think Lincoln Riley might go with him. I think so. I mean,
oh no, dude, I'm almost sure of it at this point, because here's the thing: you go as bad as you were on defense a year ago, and then what does he do, right?
But where would he go? Like, where would and there's no teams. As far as I know, I don't think there's any teams that are hiring head coaches. So he either had to be somewhere in the sidelines.
Whoever's going to get the first pick's probably firing a coach. That generally always happens.
Yeah, but I want your opinion on this. What do you think about Baker Mayfield going to Tampa Bay?
I think I don't know that it's great. I don't know, man. It's a tough thing to go in and try to follow the GOAT.
Yeah, I know. Well, Tampa Bay's bringing back their old defense.
I love Baker, and I think that the problem is, who's his offensive coordinator? Who's the coach over there? I mean, they don't even have the same guy. So my concern is this? He looked really good when he had Sean McVay there calling plays and taking care of him. He looked good at times, for Cleveland. But they were loaded, and they still are a dumpster fire. But then team in Carolina, he just did not look well. He just didn't look well, man.
Well, it's because that coach was, so as I've recalled, the coach was give him a bunch of crap at Carolina, and so that's why I think Baker was doing a poor job, because he was getting put down by the coach. He was telling him, "Oh, you did all this wrong. You're doing this wrong." And then Sean McVay really wanted him. He really wanted Baker. And I think when you have that kind of connection with a coach and a player, it's a magical thing, because you're both on track, right? And so I think if Baker likes this coach at Tampa and all of the coaches there, if he gets back on track with the coaches and he sees what their players is, he knows them,
I think
he'll do great.
This is probably his last opportunity, though. You're not going to see him getting a ton of more. The one thing I will say is that everybody that he's played with, even though Cleveland tried to make him look bad, but everybody he's played with, all of his former teammates, they all say he's a baller.
Yeah.
You know, every one of them.
Look how he was at OU. Look what he did. I mean, he was great.
You know, man. I mean, there's nothing to say.
No,
it's just flat out. This is the way it is.
It's criticism. It's criticism. Yeah. So it is.
Damn it, this camera. All right. So I didn't know we were going to end up talking about this stuff.
No, me neither. I thought me neither.
It's okay.
So how's it looking on the recruiting trail? Any?
Listen, I mean, with Carry On committing this afternoon, that's big. I think that you're looking at probably the end of the month, maybe for David Stone. It could be Jay thinks it might be in the next couple of weeks. You know, I feel like, I think Hank's probably right there. Sean Payton would be another good coach for Baker. I think he's probably going to make Russell Wilson look really good this year too. And they got a lot of money invested in Russ.
It's going to be hard to fill Tom Brady's shoes. It's going to be hard, you know?
Yeah. I think that's the hard part. That's the issue I worry about there. But as far as this recruiting stuff, I mean, I think that, look, David Stone is like, they've got him like 80-20 on Wilt Fong has him there. And they now have Waneri at 100%. He's got him at 100%. And according to, I guess I just saw, and I hadn't seen that, what you were talking about with Parker, whoever said that.
Yeah, Parker. That was on.
Parker was saying that they had a better deal for him. Well,
if you look on their website, they have a percentage thing for players of recruiting, and I was looking at that a couple of days. I think last night when they were going live, or the night before, and they had like 80 or 100%. You know, they were going all the way around with percentages.
Right.
So I don't know. You know, I watch them too. I watch OU Insider. I watch a whole bunch of other podcasts, and
sure.
But I mainly watch you. I mainly watch you.
I didn't catch that one, and so I missed that part. But so, listen, if that's the case. If the NIL package is better,
right,
better than Georgia's, better than Tennessee's, then that's going to tell you that. I mean, that was the one thing that you had to worry about with Williams. That's it, because his best friend's already on the team, Caden Green, right? He's pretty much been. I mean, they've had a crystal ball for him since the very start of the year, January. This is, I mean, it's pretty simple. And then David's going to commit. Yeah, I think so too. Michael Patterson. Woof. Listen.
I like what Kim said. She said Riley is taking his golden goose and going to the NFL.
Yeah. And Kim's the guy, by the way, everybody. I think most people. Yeah, he's the guy in the middle. So, Coach was messing that one up for a while too. Coach, I don't even see him in there, but. Let me see.
Coach was in here. He was, they saw him for a minute.
I'm going to send that to him right now. He'll come in. All right. So, yeah, I mean, look, I feel like, with Mikel Patterson, you don't think he's going to steal his thunder, huh? That's cool. Look, I think that here's what's going to happen, though. As soon as David Stone makes that decision, you're probably going to see these dominoes really fall over. Yeah, I told you what JJ, and you guys were in here for JJ. He said the same thing, that he was saying that, I mean, he's hearing it from Aaron Donald was telling him that Nigel is an OU guy. That he'd be surprised if he didn't end up there.
Where did Aaron Donald go, by the way?
It seems like they all just have such a good. He went to Pitt.
Oh.
Yeah, Aaron Donald went to Pitt. So, I mean, and that's they were working. I mean, Nigel went to work out with him and get some tutelage from him, which, wow, you know what I mean? You go work with the best player in the world, which he's the best player in football to me. I don't think there's anybody at any position that's better than Aaron Donald or more dominant, for damn sure. So, and I mean, I think that the relationship recruiting, I know a lot of people were worried about it. But, I mean, I don't know why you would be at this point. When that many guys are still – and I mean, you're still hearing stuff about Dominic McKinley. You're still hearing stuff about, there's a lot of these guys that are still in the – they're still in the freaking –
portal, I guess.
Well, they're still in in the OU camp, they've got them in their top 3 or 4 or 5 wherever they may be. Right. And we already know that David Stone has attempted to commit a couple of times. I think that he's on board with it, and from what you're seeing on Twitter lately.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be in the month of July. And look, yeah. I think you're right, Chicken. I think you are. Because again, that's when all the big guys do it. That's when the 5-star guys that aside from quarterbacks generally the quarterbacks go a little early because they're trying to slot themselves in somewhere. I mean, that's more times than not, that's one QB per school per year.
I hope that somebody commits on the 5th, because that's when I'd be turning 19.
19, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool deal, man.
Getting old.
About you've got it down pretty. You're getting old. Hush. Don't even start that stuff.
But when you grow up with old people, like grandparents, you learn a lot of things, about football, because they've been through it. And so I kind of pick that up. I pick up a lot of medical stuff from my grandmother, a lot of football from my grandfather. So it's like, things, So it's like,
no, I get it, man. And that's the thing, is it doesn't really, if you're paying enough attention to it, I can tell you by the time I was that age, with the way that we did things at our school, if you were a receiver, you were a quarterback basically too. You had to read every play, and you had to make the same reads that the quarterback was making. So
Karen messed up again. Yeah.
Stupid thing, dude.
But yeah, I watch a lot of the old games, like, with Barry Switzer, and then, Bud Wills. I go all the way back. Right. And I like doing that because it gives me a lot of I guess, research, and history about, our team. And so I think that's why I think OU will do great, because we always do this. We always start off bad, and then we always go good. But with becoming a new coach, you always get criticism, and that goes for any team. It doesn't just go for OU. It goes with any team.
I mean, this stuff like what was going on in there before it with that Caravan guy. I don't even. He's never comes in there. That had to have been a troll. And I don't like kicking anybody out of here, but you're not going to come in here and say. I mean, it's one thing what Sooner Cowboy does. I mean, and I get where he's at on it. He doesn't even really bother me that much. But when you start talking about, the kind of stuff, I mean, you're just saying.
I think he's a new one. I don't think he has he been in here before? I don't think he has. I haven't seen him. As far as I remember.
I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can fix this. I think we're getting high heat on this is why. We may have to cut this short, boys and girls.
If he can't get his camera fixed.
Yeah, it's a little screwy.
Trust me, when he gets his setup fixed, it'll be better.
Yeah.
How's it going, by the way? How you doing on that?
It's going pretty good. Guys. It's just trying to get everything figured out. These are different cameras, but they shouldn't be heating up. These are supposed to be.
Yeah. By the way, make sure y'all hit that like button. Support your boy.
Yeah, thank you, fellas. Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate that, Lemon Line.
I was doing it all a couple days ago when you were live, and I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, man. And I put you and Kim. You guys are all. I put Kim and you as administrators on here.
I appreciate that, man. I mean, you are I think, in my opinion, you're one of the best. Because you're one of the best on here, because you're fun. You make a good entertainment field for everybody, and I think I think that's why I think when you bring that kind of entertainment to people, I think it really does help. So I think it's fair that people hit the like button, subscribe, because I think you bring the entertainment to people, and it's fun.
Hey guys, and we're about 67 away actually from 2,000 subs, man. So and that's pretty fast. It generally is supposed to take you about a year. I'm a month shy of a year doing this.
Hey, Mars is in here. Let's go. I saw him on the other live.
Boy. Yeah, that's another one. I think I made him one as well.
Yeah, Mars was in OU Insider with me the other day.
Cowboys, a Georgia fan masquerading as a Sooner fan.
Yeah, he might be.
Yeah. Well, whatever happened the other night, he was pissed because he left and didn't come back. But I didn't care. No, and he can settle down. You know what I mean? He can settle down too.
But we can make jokes about that kind of stuff, but don't go overboard with it. Don't try to, start, doing what the crap that the other guy did. Don't do that. Don't go over. You can make jokes and you might, you can have some concern, but don't go overboard. If you're from another team and if you're a fan of another team, I don't think you would like it if we'd made fun of your team. So don't make fun of our team. You know what I mean? Don't.
Well, listen, it's one thing I don't even have a problem with people critiquing what's going on. There was times that, as I said, that there's guys that they needed to do better at some stuff. There's just no two ways around that. But
be respectful about it. Don't.
Yeah, and in the end, none of these the recruiting stuff bugs me though more than anything else, because it's like, dude, Lincoln did not recruit better than this. You didn't,
And we're top four. We're top four. I think we're fourth in the recruiting. Ranks national. Right. So that's pretty good. We're right up there with Georgia and Alabama somewhere. So
so the only two there was 3 schools that were better, and it was Texas, Bama, and Georgia.
Yeah.
So
I think we overpassed Texas. I think we overpassed them. I think we've got more recruits than they did. So we're doing better all the way around.
Right.
But we do have to show that we're going to do better. And I get that people are saying, well, your coach has to show out. Well, yeah, he does, but give him time to do that because this is new to him, right? So, right. But he'll do it. When he was at OU before, he used to jump on the sidelines, jumping up and down, screaming. He'll get to that again. He'll do it.
Yeah. Is he's probably putting the Oklahoma onesie on? Is that what you said, chicken? Come on now.
Hey, you know what? I'm
over here trying to get my damn camera together, and you're over here smack talking me too. Come on, bro. Yeah, change the power settings in the control panel to high performance reports.
You know what? I got OU pajamas too, so you know what?
I don't have OU pajamas. Now, damn it.
I do. They're great. I got OU shirts too. I got one that's gray and has the OU symbol on the it's extra.
You guys got jokes. Shirt. That's funny. You guys all got jokes here.
Hey, I like I like wearing pajamas around the house. That's something. If you don't got nothing to do, why not wear pajamas?
Well, I got a bunch of t-shirts and stuff, but okay, change the power options settings in the control panel to high performance. I've got it there, man. That's where I got it. So
is it hot to the touch, where you can't keep your hand on it, or is it just warm?
No, but it's definitely warm. And it's not supposed to be like that with this camera. It's just not. So I'm not sure.
Did you look at the you probably did, but did you look in the instructions and see if it, said anything extra?
Yeah, I did, but let's see, power setting. Let's see.
It's funny. We went so far off of UCF. We went from UCF. I don't know what else. Everything else. But I got to give it to UCF. Didn't they win the champ or some kind of the champ ACC or something? No, they didn't.
No. They did, but it's a crap.
Oh yeah.
It's a. I'm gonna go back to my camera, my phone camera. Give me just a second.
Yeah. But I don't know that.
I don't know what's going on with that is that it's when you start looking at that deal, it's
right.
UCF is out of their freaking mind. First and foremost, they are not. They did not. That's a mythical national championship.
Have they ever played OU? I don't remember. Have they ever played us?
No, and listen, they're talking smack about Dylan Gabriel. Smack.
Well, you know what? He's shown himself, I think, pretty good the spring game we had. So you know what? If they better be ready for OU. OU's about to roll the thunder, quite literally. We're about to come in there. We're about to boomer it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that they're in a situation where their mouth is writing some checks that their butts ain't going to be able to cash, because you're going to go in there, you try to take a shot at Dylan and see how that works out.
Yeah. Well, also not only this, but I think they're scared because I think Dylan might know some of the plays that they're going to do, maybe. So that's going to be tough. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they're trying to intimidate us, try to get us, and that's not going to work. OU's been intimidated before and it hasn't worked.
Right.
So they can talk all they want, but in the long run, it comes down to game day. When if whoever wins, then they can start talking smack. But if they don't, then why talk it in the first place? You know what I mean?
Right.
Why talk it?
No doubt. They shouldn't be, but they are. That's the whole thing about it is they are. Let's see if this will work now. Camera. I've got it working on my phone here, but I don't know if it's going to stay. I don't have anywhere to set it really. Okay, maybe that'll work.
Chicken.
I'm not seeing it.
That was a good one, chicken. I like that. That was really good. That was funny.
Yeah, well, I'm screwed here. I may
you should go back to your phone camera or whatever you were using.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on right now, but it's not coming up now either.
Are you using a new computer?
Bishop, Dr. Newkirk, how you doing, sir?
How you doing? Here. Are you using another a new computer or a new system?
No, well, I've got a switcher. I've got some different stuff, but my camera it's not pulling it up. I'm gonna get out and come right back in. Y'all just hang tight. Don't go anywhere.
For sure. I'll be here. We'll be right back. He's having some technical difficulties. Chicken, that was a good comment, by the way. I like what you said about that one. That was good. That was really good.
Hey, he's back.
Welcome back, Jason. Good to see you. Hey, R.
There he is. There he is. There he is. Okay.
There he is.
We're back.
We are back.
Gentlemen. Okay, so everybody got jokes in here talking about my PJs, my OU PJs.
So
funny, boys. Pretty funny.
Dude, I like that painting. I like that painting in the background.
Let's see. Let me go to that so I can hear it right. Okay.
I like that painting in the background. It's a nice painting.
Yeah, so this is a boardroom for the newspaper that I started my career at, pretty much.
Wow. That's nice.
So you and Sooner Cowgirl have had several arguments in the past there, Hank.
Saw that too.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I like it. The kid from Texas was a good fan for Texas. I had no problems with him.
Well, yeah.
You're talking about Rand? He doesn't bother me. He doesn't bother me. When somebody comes in, I mean, that caravan guy, I don't know who he is. I don't know if you guys see him around anywhere, but he's a troll. There's no way that's a...
No. But yeah, that Rand dude, it's always been a thing. Texas have hated Oklahoma. Oklahoma has hated Texas. That's how it works,
Yeah. Yeah, listen.
I like that. That chicken's comment was great. I like that one. That was good.
Yeah, talking about my home theater business stuff too. You're listen, buddy. Talk. Funny stuff, man. What? Oh, they let go of Pollock? Really?
Really?
Did they let go of freaking Desmond Howard then? Because I would hope so. I do not have a hanger. Don't lie. See, he did that to me last time.
I know. I remember that. That was good.
He did that to me last time. Yeah. Funny stuff. And I ended up leaving the stream for a few minutes. You guys are funny. Yeah. It's not that funny.
And Coach had to take over, I think.
Yeah, Coach did take over for a few minutes. Yeah. Hey, so listen, we've got 82 views so far, but we have 24 folks in here.
How many likes?
About 12 likes, guys. Only about
hit that
12
like button.
Likes.
Smash it in the jaw. Smash it in the jaw, man. Smash it in the jaw. Break it all up, man.
And anybody who wants to jump in, I'm going to go ahead and copy and send that link again. You don't have to use your camera. You can just jump in here.
As long as I'm not using my camera because I am not dressed. I'm in my PJs. And
I've been trying to keep my camera on, but it's not working. So it is what it is. All right. So Bishop, how you been doing today? And I'm glad that you're in here, Jimmy, as well. Chicken 1515, my boy, he's always talking some smack, but glad you guys are here. Jimmy, appreciate you coming back in as well. All you guys, let me jump to couple of these we ready, boomer, never flinch. Hey, and I don't think anybody is, and that's why I was saying that caravan guy, there's no way that's an Oklahoma dude, man. I don't know. I go and watch a lot of other podcasts that are, doing OU stuff. I don't really see that guy around, maybe, but I don't know. I don't really remember him. So, and I know that he was talking mad stupid stuff, right?
And it was weird. I don't know what he was thinking he was going to accomplish by doing that, but he did.
Well, you're not going to come at me and tell me how the one the one narrative that you're not going to get away with on this show. You can argue, and I mean, listen, as I said, I do not have a problem with these coaches being critiqued, right?
Right.
By the onesie.
Yeah. The onesie.
Listen, I don't have a problem with the critiquing, and I understand it. I really do. But what I'm not going to have is a bunch of this talk, like, that Colin Cowherd ridiculous narrative, that just like him saying about the Nebraska deal last week. He's trying to do that stupid, lazy narrative about OU becoming Nebraska.
No, we're far from Nebraska.
No, and the thing is, and here's what happened with Nebraska. When they stopped playing in the Big 12, they stopped having a pipeline into Texas. Now that Oklahoma's not losing anything with that, because first off, they own the upper part of Texas as much as anyone, right? Yeah, and so what does he do? What does he do on there? Is he a troll there then too?
Well, not only that, but with Texas and OU going both to the SEC, we'll still not lose any.
No, the pipeline's going to stay there, so you're still going to have. It is Phil BV. I knew it.
We knew it.
That sucker was, man. Okay, good to know. All right.
No.
Yeah, he's not coming back on this stream. He can stay gone.
He's a tool.
Right. No, so if you look at Nebraska, they lost their pipeline. When you're only going to play in the Big Ten, then it's hard for those kids to say, we're going to do that. If you look at in the Big 12, they're going to be there for Texas. They're going to be nearby for Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. They've got, even back then, it was Texas A&M was still around. So everything was in there. So they're going to, if you are a kid from Texas, you can make that trip. And of course, Nebraska was very good too, because your parents are going to be able to see you in the state of Texas a few times, your friends, your family. That's what happened. Right. And that's the whole deal. That's not going to be the case with OU because of the fact that you're still going to be playing A&M in Texas. You're still going to be playing A&M in Texas. So even just that part of it right there. And on top of that, it's freaking 2 hours from Oklahoma State or Oklahoma City. From Oklahoma City down to Dallas, right?
I don't know how Texas Tech is going to do it.
That's exactly how it is. But when you got a guy like that coming in there that says the same crap, and what kind of weak sauce dude are you that you can't even use your real name? You're just going to come in to be a troll. What kind of weak?
It gets tiring after a while. If people keep talking like that, it gets tiring.
Weak. I mean, you know what? Stand behind it. Stand behind what you're saying. Stand behind what you're saying. Do that.
But I don't know how Texas. We're not playing Texas. I don't think in the SEC. No, we're not with the schedule. But if we ever did, I wonder how that would go down.
Listen, and I agree with you right here, Chicken. They can talk smack, but like saying stupid stuff like that that's the one thing I'm not going to let anybody get away with, is saying that there was plenty of talent on this team, because that's not true.
There's some really good talent on OU side right now, and we got to keep it.
There is now, and it's getting better. But it's not what it was the last season. And the guys not even everybody that was on that defense was bad. A lot of them were good, but it's a lot of the stuff is since 2009, Nebraska and Texas.
Perfect. I got to say something, by the way. When OU used to play Nebraska way back, it used to be like Texas and Oklahoma. Okay, it used to be matchup on matchup. It used to be like Texas and Oklahoma. Okay, Nebraska used to be a powerhouse. They used to be really good, and I don't know what happened. I don't know. I've always wondered.
No, it's the pipeline. That's what it is. I can tell you that, because if you are a kid from Texas, you could go to Nebraska because you knew you were probably going to be in the area of Texas a couple of times a year at least, right?
Right.
Because their parents can go see them and not have to drive all the way up to Lincoln. That's a long ways from Austin.
Right.
Right. That's a long ways from Colorado. It's pretty much a long way from everywhere, except for, I guess, Oklahoma's fairly close, right? But when you start looking at it in terms of these kids, that's a long way for them to get home too. So if they're all Texas kids, and that's where the biggest part. The other thing that I think Coach Osborne did, and maybe you guys will back this up for me, and some of you older guys that have been around a while. it seemed like Coach Osborne was big in the JUCO guy. I mean, he'd go after those JUCO kids. Tommy was a JUCO kid, wasn't he? Tommy Frazier?
I think so. I believe.
I'm pretty sure he was, man. You want to talk about a
Kim
stud.
said, "Does UCF have a death wish?" They don't have a death wish. They're just doing whatever the other team does, and they're just trying to intimidate OU.
So listen, I don't know what their deal is. I'm going to tell you this. It's hilarious though. But I'm telling you, I was watching Allie Peak, and she had me rolling because she was talking. I mean, and this is the first. It's not often that you're going to hear a Florida fan say nice things about FSU fans or FSU at all. It's not often that you're going to hear, maybe. But here's the thing, Eric, here's what has to happen, Eric, is that it's not even about Oklahoma and Texas so much. It's the difference is you have to recruit on that level, and you have to get used to doing it one time a year is one thing, man. But good for you. Right.
I don't know where they're going to recruit in the Big 12. I don't know what state or what they're going to do.
They're going to recruit Florida, and they don't have to do anything. That's why they can be good, is because they don't have to recruit anywhere but Florida. They don't have to. That's the one thing. But what I'll tell you is that once they
But I have to say that OU's always found talent in Texas. We always get players from Texas. So,
absolutely.
I mean, it could be the same
you
thing
have to continue to do that, but that's not going to the SEC is not going to change that, because you still have the two major players in Texas, being A&M and Texas. They're still going to recruit right there with them.
But if I was UCF, I think I would recruit in other states that have really good players, like like maybe BYU or somewhere.
Florida has probably. I mean, that's the speed state, man.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, the depth, but some talent, man, but not. You got to remember the other part about it too is everybody's got their own kind of kid, and it's not even just okay. So another part of it that and this is something that I don't think that people talk a whole lot about this, but what Schmitty had to do last year was he even had to kind of back BV off of some of these guys on working them so hard, because they're trying to build up the muscle again because of the fact that you had, the yoga instructor there for so long, Wiley. And, so there was some things where some of these kids were getting tired. And I think that that's part of that learning curve we're talking about, that you can't.
Do we even have to play
some of the game plans, that they were 40, 50 pages long. You don't really need to do all that. I think that there were some things that if he was going to do it over again, he would, right? If he had a chance to.
Do we even have to play West Virginia this year or no?
Yeah.
Did we play West Virginia this year?
Yeah, they're going to kill West Virginia. Yeah.
Didn't they beat us? Did they beat us last year? We beat them. I don't remember.
No, they beat them. They beat OU, but it was bad weather. And I mean, that was another one of those games that they had to make mistake after mistake. They had, 2 or 3 drop balls that were probably touchdowns. I mean, Marvin had one right in his hands running down the sideline. And just
something happened with him, too. That was kind of interesting. Something like he used to be, a good receiver, and he kind of just
I still feel like, listen, I mean, a lot of that has to do with timing and stuff, and it's a different offense than Lincoln's offense, man. It just is. And the other part was, I think a lot of it had to do with that. But look, bottom line is they still had a top 15 offense. When the defense is that bad, what are you going to do? And they still 5 of them, right? I do yoga. Yeah, I do yoga. Yeah, you're right. No, I don't. I need to. Badass. I need to. Well,
now I wonder if this is true. I've heard that most football players take ballet. What do you think about that?
Some do. That was back in the day. I think wasn't it the Bears guys that were doing a lot of that?
Could have been. I think it helped.
Yeah, I could see it. I don't know though.
Speaking of grills, since I just saw grills.
Yeah, check it out. Black.
I have
grills. Everybody check them out. You guys
those grill covers. Mm-hmm. I have a black one with an OU symbol right on the big front of it. It's
That's
great.
What I'm talking about. You guys make sure to go check out our new sponsor though. These guys, the Louisiana Grill Company. They have some amazing grills. They've got some that are portable. These are pellet smokers. Man. All you got to do is
out to the
OU game website. Hey man, yeah, you can too. Some of that stuff is for that they can actually, they're portable enough for you to go tailgate with. This is great. I mean, and if you guys are in, I mean, I know you Okies are a bunch of freaking barbecuing
yeah.
fools, right? Come on now.
Yeah,
I
I
know
know
you
I
are.
am. No, we are. I know it for a fact.
Yeah. Yeah. So, guys, get in
Speaking of
there.
Okie
Check
Light,
that stuff out.
since I remember you talking about that, I wonder how Gundy's doing in that kind of recruiting thing, if he's doing anything at all.
They're actually doing pretty well with recruiting, but I don't know, man. Apparently,
Because I mean, they lost their quarterback to Ole Miss.
Up. Yeah.
You know, poor Sanders, he went to Ole Miss. I wonder how he's going to do
Jimmy,
there.
I think he had 4 touchdowns that he dropped last year, Jimmy. I think he did. And I listen, I love Marvin Mims, you know, and he was definitely the best receiver out of them. But yeah, I mean, think about it. You got 4 games that you lost by 3 points, you know, and I know for sure that he dropped 3 touchdown passes, but I'm thinking it was 4. And then you had Jaleel dropped a couple, and Theo Weiss couldn't catch a cold till towards the end of the year, you know. So
you know, it's funny though, because
Oklahoma,
you know, CeeDee Lamb was good too. Remember CeeDee Lamb? God, that guy was great.
Oh, dude, that guy's insane.
And
it's a shame that Keon Brown kid. Now, you know, good thing is he's going to go to Garden City. He's still slated to come to OU with the grade thing or whatever. But that's who he's kind of comping as CD. You know,
I only have 3 grills.
Come on, Hank, sell them. No, I'm just kidding. You guys
sell them.
You guys I'm just throwing them up there. I'm trying to throw stuff out there that you guys might want. You know, whatever it is that that you guys are looking for. We're throwing some more deals together. We're gonna have another sponsor as well, but I'm just throwing together things that you guys might want.
I'm fixing my grill already. I have to fix it. So yeah.
You can always jump onto our podcast merchandise website as well. It's just the hofmedia.us and then pod-merch. Get that Lincoln Riley blocked me shirt for your badge of honor if you've been blocked by Lincoln, and I know a lot of you guys have.
You know, so I went to the OU website and I got me a good jacket too. It's a silk jacket, whatever, like one of those one of those jackets that you get. It's good.
Right on. Anybody else want to jump in here, guys? Anybody else want to jump? Okay, so we've got still about 17 likes. Man, the freaking studio is not very soundproof today.
Whoever wants to jump in, go ahead. I mean, it's up to y'all. You know what I mean? You don't have to use your camera, but
brisket would be great right now.
Oh my God,
brisket would be great right now. Yeah, listen, and all you got to look.
I was thinking about a pulled pork sandwich.
They're about to send me one pretty soon.
I was thinking about a pulled pork sandwich right now. That sounds good.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. So, Chicken, you've got Oklahoma Joe's. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find them too. I'll throw them all out there. Anybody who wants whatever. Do need a small one for camping. See, there you go. Hank. There you go.
It's funny. Drake Stoops has not. I don't think he's dropped a pass in a while.
No, Drake doesn't drop balls.
No.
Listen, and here's the thing. Drake is that guy that he's gonna get open, and he's gonna get those tough catches. I mean, hey man, when him and Billy Bowman were going at it in the spring in that practice, dude, I love that. I love seeing guys fight in practice, especially when you've been hitting each other all, the whole time.
Wasn't Bob Stoops, wasn't he a wide receiver or no? What was he at K-State?
Bob? He didn't play at K-State. He was a defensive coach though.
Oh, I thought he played at K-State.
He was I think he was a secondary coach. He's been a defensive coach, but he played didn't he play at Youngstown? You guys remind me about that. I thought he played at Youngstown State. He's an Ohio kid.
But wasn't he a wide receiver? Or I don't know what he was. Probably was. If so, then his kids got it with him. Because I mean,
yeah,
Stoops is really good.
Yeah, listen, and he's a good little player, and especially for being a walk-on, man. He's doing his thing, and he's feisty. He understands. I mean, look, when you're a coach's son, you're going to understand the things that you need to do. You're going to go all out, I mean,
didn't we get Barry Switzer's grandchild as a quarterback?
We did.
That's going to be exciting. I think that's going to be really exciting.
It's pretty cool. I think so too. I had no idea that he even had a grandkid that age, but that's cool.
And my family, we love Barry Switzer. Oh my God, we love Bud Wilkinson's, Barry Switzer. We love all of them.
Yep. There's another one of those shirts that's in there. We got the 5 B's of Oklahoma shirt in the podcast merchandise. Lemon Lime, didn't you get Horns Down hat, something like that? You said you bought before.
I don't think I did. No, I don't think I did.
All right. So anybody who has bought into that merch, I know there's at least a few of you guys that have. Take a picture, send it in. I want to show it off, man. You know, we're gonna.
The funny thing is, my grandfather got to talk to Barry Switzer one time. That was great.
Barry Switzer's cool, man.
I know.
He's freaking cool. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right. Love Friday live streams at this time. Yeah. I think so let me get back to this stuff about this UCF stuff.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about what's been being said. It's so crazy to me that these guys are coming in. You would think that if you're going to come in, you're coming into a new league, which is what this is really driving me. I just don't understand where it's coming from. But they come in, they're talking smack. And even Malzahn was talking about that it's not a big 3, it needs to be a big 4. Guys, these dudes finished the best recruiting season that they've had at UCF is 30 in the last 8 years is 39th. They average 68th. They average 68th. So they get coached up a little bit. They've had some good coaches there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's one thing to get coached up for one game, right?
Yeah.
One game. It's one thing to get coached up for that. And what Professor was talking about when he was in here, the game that they beat Florida in, it was one of those stupid, which I don't agree with Florida, not playing a bunch of guys. I don't know if they had injuries or what the deal was, but I'm not a fan of those guys not going and playing, whatever the game is, particularly when you're playing somebody from Florida. There's really should be no excuses for that.
I think Cody might have something to say about that.
I don't care. I'll tell him to his face. But I'm saying there's no excuses for you to lose to that team. It's just like Florida made that same excuse about losing the Cotton Bowl, to Oklahoma a few years ago.
Right.
That just because they didn't have their tight end. Well, whatever, dude. You still got plastered. That's all there is to it. But bottom line is you need to show up. In the end, if you look at where their strength of schedule is around 68th as well.
Right.
So it's not good. Or 70th actually is what I'm looking at here. You've got, if you start even looking at, let's see, I had that other thing up there real quick. Where is that? You have these. Where the heck is it?
Look, I don't think UCF has the talent to pull it off. As
no,
far as
they
I can
don't.
see.
They don't right now. That's the whole point. And they're in there talking and talking and talking and saying all this kind of stuff. And then you're going to go in there. If you'd be smart if you did. All they had to do was stay under the radar, because Dylan hasn't done anything but talk nice about it, about UCF. Yeah. And when they were in my mentions this past week, they were calling him sock boy and said that he's the one that ran off Mackenzie Milton because they wanted him to be the man. Mackenzie and then some other guy, they both left to go play somewhere else because they knew that he was going to be the man, and then he runs off to follow Levy. Well, he didn't run off and follow Levy. And then they were also saying that he wasn't really hurt, that he was ready to come back in, but he just didn't.
Look, a player has a choice to leave or to stay.
That doesn't seem like Dylan Gabriel to me, that he would quit on his team. He was upset about missing those games that he missed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they are in their feelings, but it's not even about that, though. They were going after Mackenzie Milton, too. All that smack they were talking in there on my stuff, they're in there running their mouth, right? They're in there running their mouth about Mackenzie Milton, too. That's why Okie like Cody got pissed at, because they were going pretty bad on it.
Look, players have a choice. They can stay or they can go. And Dylan Gabriel, Sanders, everybody who left from any other team, they wanted to go. They wanted to leave. So
when coaches leave, players follow.
Yeah.
We just saw it here a year ago.
Because they have a connection with the coach. They have a connection with, and they don't want to lose that.
He wanted, Levy was up for the job, didn't get it. And so, and he was hurt. I know he was hurt. So I don't know. But apparently they were trying to rally together to get Levy to get the job, and he didn't get it. So they're trying to act like just because Levy didn't get it, he turned into bad teammate guy. Right. Well, you know what? I haven't seen that anywhere. I haven't seen that from any of the guys in that locker room. One of the guys that was one of my favorite players from last season, Braden, you know, he was saying that's our guy, you know. And I mean, oh man, the Niners are in such good shape getting Braden Willis. That guy is going to be a stud.
You said the
at
Miners?
next level. The Niners.
Oh, the Niners. You say
Yep.
the Miners? That's another team we played last year.
But I'm telling you, they're going to be good. But again, they would have been better off just to go in and shut up a little bit and not say anything and let yourself catch up. You've got a bigger budget now that you're in the Big 12. And you are going to be able to recruit Florida, but it's not going to be the same as playing Temple and ECU and Tulane and Memphis and Tulsa.
And you know, when you talk crap about school, that's going to make the school want to go harder. You know, that they want then now you probably will go more aggressive, and probably most likely again they're never going to win.
You shouldn't have ran your mouth.
But,
that's the whole thing, and that's what I was saying in that last video. Was like, that was stupid. You know, if you fly under the radar there and don't say nothing, and you're nice about your opponent, then you can go take it to them in the game, and maybe have I mean, hope that OU is going to overlook you. Now, the fact that OU had a tough season last year, they're not going to overlook anybody. But it didn't have to be like that. That now the heat's going to be turned up because they're bad mouthing their quarterback. And they're bad mouthing Oklahoma in general.
So now they're going to go tough. Now they're going to go tough on you.
Oh yeah, man! I see them freaking trying to run it up. And
don't we have to play Cincinnati this year?
Yeah, on the road.
Are they any good? Are they any? I mean,
I don't think so. I think that the problem there is that they had a decent quarterback, but he ended up leaving. Satterfield hasn't done much, and he keeps getting like good jobs, right? But he still hasn't done much. I mean, I don't know why you would have really left the Louisville job for that one.
Right.
Louisville overall is probably a better program, but I just think that.
And anything new about Colorado? Anything new about them? Like they got that coach, and all the players. I wonder if there's anything new about them.
Who's that?
Colorado.
Colorado. Oh man, yeah. Well, Coach Prime it looks like he's gonna have his foot amputated because he's that all came back. But look, I'd tell you one thing. All he's got to do is just put the players in there because they've got great assistants everywhere around there, and they've got players. I mean, they flipped basically the entire roster. He's the only guy that did more in the transfer portal than Lincoln Riley has. Go figure that, right?
Well, like LSU,
and I know a lot of people aren't fans of Coach Prime. I understand it. I mean, he's loud. He's a little, but I mean, I don't have a problem with him. But because I think that's the way he's always been. You know what I mean? I don't see fake there. I see this is who he's always been. And
look, if OU ever plays LSU, we're still mad about the loss we got to LSU. So that's another one of those schools though that's always can be a loss, man. These guys have talent on talent on talent. The guys that are from Louisiana they have they beat Bama. They beat Bama.
They don't go anywhere. Yeah, I know. And look. They're a dark horse. I think that if Georgia slips somehow, and we don't know what their quarterback's going to be like, right? But their defense is going to be disgusting. I think if Georgia slips up, that's the team that I think is going to be. I think LSU wins it.
I was thinking it might be Tennessee if Tennessee keeps going with this win streak.
I think that Tennessee's got to have a defense, and I haven't seen that yet.
I don't know. But I think if Tennessee can get their defense going, they have a good offense already, right? They got a good offense.
Oh, yeah, Chicken, you live in Cincy, huh?
Uh-oh.
Heck yeah, dude. I may be there before too long.
You know what? It's funny because it's Tennessee.
The new quarterback. You're right. But they had a guy that was – I thought he was staying from last year, and then because Fickle didn't take him, right?
Guess not. Maybe.
I don't know because he got what's his name from SMU, and then he got
that's the other thing is SMU any good either since we have to play them this year? All right, is SMU?
Oh no, I don't think I think they're okay, but it's not. This is not an issue that OU should be. That should be not a problem. They should go 3-0 without blinking.
Yeah, I think even 4-0 the way because I don't think that they can. I don't think any of the top 4 teams that we play.
What did you guys all think about it? LSU is always going to be dangerous, man. They're the one team that Louisiana has a lot of stud athletes, plain and simple. And this is like the McKinley thing seems weird because you never hear about those guys not going to LSU. And they don't really matter who the coach is. You know, they go to LSU. So it's kind of surprising, right? But no, I agree. LSU is always going to be dangerous. And I mean, look at it. There's a reason why Saban's a little on the paranoid side these days, right? It is. Look, he's got, not only does he got Oklahoma and Texas coming in that can recruit with him, not on the same level, but that can also put a defense out there. And he knows that Sark can put an offense together. Now he also knows that Sark isn't making adjustments. I don't know. I
wonder how that would match up. I wonder how that would match up. Texas and LSU. I wonder how that would match up the way it's going.
Well, I mean, the last time they played was the national championship year, and Texas did everything but beat them. But of course, that was with another coach,
right?
It would the guy they shouldn't have fired, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got 2 ex-Sooner quarterbacks. That's right. And so, and they're good. They're going to start. They're not going to start Nico, but from what I understand, it sounded like he's doing really well. But they're going to go. I mean, they're going to go with the senior. You know what
I think Nick Saban should be paranoid about the SEC in general because it's changing, and not for not for his liking. And so, and he better be paranoid about OU coming in because OU's going to be doing their hardest on Alabama. So he better get ready. And he's getting up there. He's getting pretty old. So I don't know when he's going to retire, if he is going to retire. But right. I mean, it's getting it's getting to the point where things are changing. The SEC is going to be changing, and new teams are going to come in.
Well, and he's already struggling with it. And look, he won 15 times in a row over Tennessee, and still.
And then he lost.
He was worried about having to keep them on his permanent schedule all the time.
Yeah,
that's why they stayed with the 8-game right now.
Then he lost to LSU, and that was a big worry for him, I bet.
Yeah, no, and listen, everybody hates Brian Kelly, and for good reason. But the guy can coach. And I mean, when you give him athletes like you get at LSU, they're going to win. I think that he knew that because even though, I mean, they played him twice, once in the playoff and once in the bowl in the BCS, right? And then, I mean, they handled them. But there was a difference there. I mean, the depth, they had some good players. I think Marcus is doing better than he was as a recruiter there. But I do think that they had some depth there. It sounds, though, to me, though, what we're starting to hear is Notre Dame's about to be a Big Ten school.
Well, it wasn't like when LSU had what's his name as quarterback, with the other coach. I forget what his name was, the other quarterback that was there. But it wasn't like when he was there. He's playing for the NFL, playing for Cincinnati.
Joe Burrow?
Yeah. And so it's not going to be a powerhouse like it was when he was there. I mean, it's going to get better.
Quarterback, though. Daniels is good. Daniels is good, man. Yeah, I was surprised they lost to FSU last year in that, but it was that first game, and it took them screwing up a lot to lose it. But then they hadn't. I mean, and then they stumbled a bit at the end of the year. But I think that you're going to see.
Didn't they lose to Tennessee, LSU?
Yeah, They know. Yes. No. Yes.
Yeah, LSU lost to Tennessee. Yeah, they did.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
They did. But I mean, those 2 losses was one. It was one loss in the SEC, so that didn't really hurt them because they beat Bama. But then they ended up turning around and losing to freaking A&M before.
Yeah. I don't know how you lose to A&M.
Yeah. Well, A&M's talented. That's why. I mean, they were able to. The one thing you can say about Texas A&M is that they're putting talent out there. It's just a matter. It's being mismanaged, and it's not. You've got to get these guys that they're going to fit together. This is the whole point of we've talked a lot about the whole relationship deal, and that's why. Because the relationship recruiting is going to work. If you're not just after them for money, on the money side,
yeah. I think I agree with Kim said. He said Georgia, Bama, LSU, OU at top teams, and then Tennessee, Ole Miss, Texas, and Auburn at second tier. I could see that because Ole Miss got Sanders, and he's a good quarterback.
I wouldn't count Florida out because when they get the right guy in there, they can be real. I think that, but that's one of those. It kind of switches around a little bit here and there. You know what I mean? I'm not sure that Billy's the guy.
And why would Saban coach until he's dead? Because he's not. I mean, if he keeps doing as bad as he did last year, he can't.
Miss Terry is not going to have his ass in the house. That's why. She's not doing it. She's going to make him work. So he might as well be, coaching. is the way he feels about it.
Yeah, but if he can't win like he used to, and he can't do the
yeah,
things he's
and that's
doing,
well. Listen, this is where you're starting to see his. He's been very paranoid since the whole NIL thing came around. He was kind of boasting about Bryce Young getting $1 million before he ever took a snap, and then come next year, then he's throwing Deion Sanders and Jimbo and everybody else under the bus for quote buying their teams. But in the end, he was doing that in front of a bunch of boosters so that he could get more money out of them.
Right.
That's really all that was. But that the whole. But the thing is, if you start thinking, Kevin Sumlin had a better record at this time of when he got fired than what Jimbo has, and Jimbo's got another $87 million left on his.
Jimbo didn't get fired yet, did he?
Oh, he's not.
No.
It's too much money. They're not going to fire him right away. I think I could see if he and I still do see him balking at it. I don't see him letting Petrino just call the plays, man. I think he's going to screw that all up.
This is for Texas A&M, isn't it? Or who is it? What team is he in? I don't remember.
Texas A&M.
Well, yeah, if he keeps doing what he's doing, Texas A&M will lose, right? I believe. And so it's going to get harder for Texas A&M. So they need to think about long term,
Okay, Lemon Lime. Well, thank you for coming in, buddy. I'm gonna take one more call from one of these guys, and then I'm gonna jump out of here because this camera's kind of screwy. But man, I appreciate you coming in, and
I'll be back next live on Tuesday. I'll be here.
Absolutely, thanks.
Do another call-in show.
Being around.
Peace out, man.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys. Anybody else want to jump in? I'm gonna let one more come in, and then man, this thing is screwy. After this, I'm gonna get out of here. So yeah, this whole studio is janked. Bama has had way too many coaching changes. It will catch up. Yeah, I don't know. It's his whole little rehab thing that's going on. I bet if you look at it, they lost 2 games by freaking 2 points, and they made a huge deal about the offensive coordinator and the defense. I mean, really, the defense wasn't great, but the offense was fine. I don't think it was that. They may not have been the exact same, right, as what they used to be. Yeah, and thanks for coming on, Lemon Lime. I appreciate that. Yeah, so let's talk about that. Okay, one last thing. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Texas a little bit. We control Texas a little bit. When's the last time you heard about them losing out on the number 1 receiver in the state to anyone, much less Texas Tech? Right? Much less Texas Tech. And we can actually troll a little bit on Lincoln too, because he just lost a big time receiver that they really wanted to Aggie. What? How does that happen? Tell me how that happened. It's awesome. But how is it that, and listen, I think Joey McGuire is doing a great job. And if you, and I've got a video coming out here. In the morning that'll be with a friend of mine that I used to work with in Midland, Texas. And he's the sports editor out there still. And he's just talking about, he's been covering that program for 26 years. And it's just a different way that, I mean, you think about Joey McGuire, he was in charge of the Texas High School Coaches Association. I didn't even realize that, right? That's probably one of the most powerful groups in the state of Texas, period, in anything, right? But it's particularly in football. And in order for you to get that job, that means that you have to be able to make people move. Yeah, yeah, I got you, man. I'll have my camera stuff right here this next time. But yeah, the Mecca isn't pulling like that. No, it's the Mecca. Yeah, that whole thing is still hilarious, right? Hilarious that Lincoln's thinking, think about it. He's an excuse guy, man. He's an excuse guy. He made excuses for he didn't make the excuse that, yeah, I screwed it up and freaking send a guy in there and we got a damn safety. The one thing you can't do in the Cotton Bowl, the one thing you can't do. And then, he's making excuses about Caleb was still hurt. Bullshit. He put up freaking 50. You needed to win. Period. The first game against Utah, they go into Utah, and Caleb had like 7 touchdown passes or some crap like that. It was unbelievable, and they still lose it. It's always excuses with this guy. Always excuses with this guy. Hey, thanks, Jackson. I appreciate that, guys. Appreciate you guys all showing up again, man. I decided to jump in here and do a couple of things. It didn't exactly go the way I was expecting it to go, but listen, I like talking ball anytime with you guys anyway. And I did think it was funny, the whole deal with the UCF stuff. It surprises me that you would come in that loud, right? It does. I just don't see it. But it's man, I'm telling you. Pretty crazy, man. That Art Briles type of Texas high school football connection. Absolutely, man. And Art was like that. So see, whenever I first got to Texas, he was still at Carroll. He was at South Lake Carroll. And then that was right before he got North Texas, I believe. Yeah, he went North Texas, then Houston, then ended up at Baylor. I was surprised that they didn't get him at Texas when they were still trying to get rid of Mac, I think. But they messed up there. But also the whole thing at Baylor, I know a lot of people want to blame that on him, but there's a lot of stories out there that say that it's not the same. That, he definitely he's paying for it with it. But you want to talk about a guy that could dial up some plays? Holy crap, man. I remember that year that RG3 won the Heisman. I went to Baylor to go watch that game and they beat the brakes off of Oklahoma that year. Just, unbelievable, man. They were so good. So good. But yeah, listen, I think that's exactly what's going on there. Still want Okoye too. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And I think, listen, guys, I think that this is coming about. I think it is. And I was on there watching a little bit of that JP and Trash show the other night with you guys that were in there. Kim, I saw after I had to walk out of here and right towards the end of it, and then it was over. But I tell you, he was talking about, because he was getting a bunch of the same stuff in there about how they're not going to get these guys, they're not going to get that guy, because Sooner Cowboy was in there, right? But I'm telling you, it's going to be all right, man. It really is. I think that I'm almost 100% that I think that David Stone's going to be a Sooner. When David Stone becomes a Sooner, it's all over with, man. They're going to load up on that. And listen, if you listen to what Reggie was saying, and I went back and listened to that interview with Jay the other day. If you guys haven't watched it, you should go watch it. I know Kim, you and Hank were in there, right? I mean, he was real about that stuff. He's like, no. He didn't even like hearing top 10. Didn't even like hearing top 10, right? Yeah. See, and I think that's a big deal too. That's something that we've all kind of talked about. That's something that they have to do, right? That's something that they have to do, is that they have to back up what they did in recruiting, because I think not being good on defense last season kind of played into their hands with recruiting, right? Texas and LSU are not on Okoye. Okay. Yeah, man. There's so much going on. But so, I mean, I really like hearing that Winery didn't have a great visit, I guess, with Georgia. I still felt like that was going to happen, Yeah, listen, he's gotten on my nerves too. That time on Ty's show, he pissed me off. I was really pissed. Yeah, I like Okoye too, man. Hey, listen, there's a bunch of guys out there that are hot on Oklahoma that are difference makers, And again, I don't see them ever really recruiting the same way that you're seeing Alabama do it, and Georgia, where they're going to offer everybody and they don't care about, and especially like A&M. You're not going to see them do that, because they're not just going to offer anybody that may not be a fit to how they want to do things. They're not going to deal with drama, right? It's not happening. But I think that this year, yeah, the on-field performance does matter. I think that it played into their hands a year ago, because some of these guys, like, I remember Sammy talking about that. that he was saying that, hey, man, we feel like we're going to end up going in there and playing right away. And then when I had Makari Vickers on the show, he was talking about that. He was like, well, yeah, we everybody kind of stayed close and stayed together on it. And Jackson was talking to him a lot. And Jackson did a great job of kind of keeping that class together, right? But all those defensive guys did. And Sammy was one of those guys. And he was really trying to keep, and I even think, I think that the reason that they ever got, he said top 5, man. He did say it. I'll tell you what, that kid, he said he was 5'4", 140 when he started his first varsity game. And that dude hits like a freaking rented mule. I just beats that hit that he put on Dylan last year. And then he was talking about Eric Gray too. Holy crap, man. He lowered the boom on him. And that was one of the times I was kind of pissed at Levy for calling that play and getting freaking Dylan killed like that. Because you could tell it hurt him. But that kid brings it, man. He brings it. And did you see what he said that Roshan was better than Bijan? Overall, that he was going to be better in the league? That was surprising. Pretty wild. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not going to say top 5. Listen, I think if they're top 50, they're in great shape to win 10 and probably maybe even 11 and get a chance to go to the playoff. If they're in the top 50, right? If they get into the top 20, they're definitely going to, I mean, barring anything just ridiculous happening on the offensive side where you lose everybody. Which, again, that room, the running back room is so deep. I don't think you have to put these quarterbacks in a bad position this year. You don't have to put them in. I think that you kind of have to let Dylan move around. He reminds me not to say that he's Baker, but similar to Baker, he's not the biggest guy in the world. So you need to let him move around out of the pocket to get some open throwing lanes, right? It's hard to throw over those big dudes. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what you have to do. And I think that, and Jeff knows that. They did it a lot. I mean, for as much as Lane likes to air it out too. Lane Kiffin loves to air it out, but they run the football. And that offense has always been good for running the football. And I think that, look, I didn't think Eric Gray was great Lincoln's last year. He wasn't. It seemed like Marcus Major was playing better most of the year. But Eric just didn't, I don't know. He just didn't have the, but last season, he thrived with Levy. He did. There's little differences, But folks, we've been going for a pretty good while here. And my phone is now heating up too. I got some issue going on here. I'm going to have to get on this, but I appreciate all you guys coming in. Make sure that you hit that like button on the way out. We have, we still got 26 in here and I have 18 likes. Somebody took a like away right as I look at it. Are you kidding me? Okay. So hit the like button if you would. Appreciate that. Guys, we are definitely hey, like I said, we are getting very close to that 2,000 mark. Generally, they say you won't get your first 1,000 for a year. We're 1 month shy of 1 year since I started this program, so we're looking at hey, we're gonna double that up. Looking to kind of really, hey, make sure that you're sharing this with your friends. That's the easiest way to do it. Obviously, is to make sure that you hit that like button, share us with your friends. And I always appreciate you guys coming in here, taking care of me. I don't even mind the, picking at me a little bit. Chicken's one of my boys. I like that stuff. I wasn't going to put up with the caravan dude. And now that I know it was Fel BV, nope. Not having it. I knew that guy was full of shit, man. Damn it. And you can tell that Mark knows too, though. But I just don't know who he was. But I was like, come on, man. There's no way he's not a freaking Texas fan or either that or he's got to be a freaking USC fan. One of the two. Thank you, Hank. Appreciate it. Norla Darwish. Hey, what's up, man? Oh well. Norla? Is that Norla? Hello, how are you? Thank you for coming in. Guys, thanks again. We will see you on Tuesday for sure. We may hit up a couple of things on Monday. I'm still trying to work through the kinks on this thing, but we're starting to build actually now, so we're going to find out how everything goes. Yeah, Anthony Petaway and Farouk out on. Oh, dude, I can't wait. Yeah, man. Turco. Oh, yeah. I saw that, huh? That's cool, man. You're watching me from Afghanistan. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you for coming on. We appreciate that. You like college football? American football? All right, guys. We'll appreciate it. Hey, guys, thanks again. And we will see you on the next one. Hey, you guys all know the drill, right? Say it with me. Smash that red subscriber button. Like our videos. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss one moment of the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Hey, we even have amazing pod merchandise right here in our store. Hey, while you're here, don't forget to check out all these other amazing channels and subscribe to them too.